I would now like to introduce you to Nicholas Wolff, Programme Director, Central Renewal Project at Transport for New South Wales. Nicholas Wolff heads one of New South Wales' major urban renewal projects. Transport for New South Wales Central Precinct Renewal Programme will renew 24 hectares in and around Australia's busiest transport interchange, Central Station, to become an exciting new destination and place in Sydney. With a background in architecture and design, Nicholas is a leading urban renewal specialist, having led the development of major projects in Sydney and Perth, including the $2.2 billion Central Park project in Chippendale, and currently under construction expansion of the Art Gallery of New South Wales, the Sydney Modern Project. Welcome, Nicholas.
Thank you, Paul. As Paul said, my name is Nicholas Wolff and I'm the Program Director for the Central Precinct Renewal Program. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation and pay my respects to the traditional custodians on the land which I am today, especially elders past, present and emerging. Unlike most of you perhaps on this today, I don't have an engineering or indeed a construction background. I am one of those flawed individuals who started his life as an architect. In a previous life, I did lead the master planning and design development of the Central Park project, which Paul touched on, which is just down the road from Central, fronting Broadway there. So it's great to be back in the area at the helm of another project, which will, I believe, have enormous impact on the face of city of Sydney. Urban renewal and placemaking is a new focus for Transport for New South Wales, which came about when the Future Transport 2056 was launched in 2018. And thus thinking has shifted from mode-based service delivery towards seamless end-to-end customer journeys with emphasis on successful and accessible places for community. The big issue that we're grappling with both at Transport and particularly on the Central project as a result of adopting a place-based approach can probably be summarised as being the following sorts of issues. How do we contribute to successful placemaking using transport solutions that enhance the character and identity of local communities? We need to be working towards net zero emissions by accelerating the switch to alternative sources of energy, both in the transport sector generally, but certainly in urban renewal. By protecting the environment and placing it at the forefront of design, service delivery and operations. It's important strengthening regional connections, particularly when we think of Central as being the major connector to the regions of New South Wales within Sydney. Enabling active lives by making walking and bike riding a real option for our customers and communities. And finally, perhaps equally important or very significantly, engaging respectfully with communities to deliver transport solutions through consultation, listening to and respecting all communities, including Aboriginal communities where we and our contractors work. Within the above framework, Transport is leading large urban renewal projects at 3 Sydney CBD interchanges, being Circular Quay, where we are broadcasting from today, and Redfern North Everleigh, where in that area we're looking to join together transport, education and creative destinations to create a place that celebrates the rich industrial, cultural, Aboriginal and creative roots of the precinct. And finally, Central Precinct, which will become an exciting new place for businesses and the community by renewing up to 24 hectares of government-owned land in and around the station. It's important to set the work at Central into the context of Tech Central, which is New South Wales Government's initiative to drive the biggest technology hub of its kind in Australia as part of a revitalised southern CBD. The major icon of this tech hub, which many of you are probably aware of, is the Atlassian headquarters building being developed in the western gateway part of Central and which gained planning approval last week. The scale of Tech Central is shown on the image before you, and you can see that together the Central Precinct and Redfern North Everleigh are both key underpinning developments of Tech Central. Tech Central can be characterised globally as what is known as an innovation district. With almost 2 million weekly passengers, Central Station is one of the most well-connected areas within Sydney. And when Sydney Metro opens, it will cater for an additional 100,000 customers. Our vision for the renewal of Central is a bold one, to create a vibrant and exciting place that unites a world-class interchange with innovative and diverse businesses and high-quality public spaces. It will embrace design, sustainability and connectivity, celebrate its unique built form and social and cultural heritage, and become a centre for the future and economic growth. As part of the delivery of that vision and in recognition of the Central Precinct's renewal potential to boost investment and deliver jobs, the New South Wales Government in 2019 nominated the 24 hectares of land around Central as a state significant precinct. So you can see before you the 24 hectares, which stretches from Cleveland Street in the south to the Goulburn Street car park in the north. And for the purposes of the planning study and the investigations, it's divided into the 8 sub-precincts, which enables the development of the site to respond to the varying characters of the surrounding areas of Surrey Hills, Chippendale and Haymarket. It is within each of these precincts, sub-precincts, that we are working to investigate renewal opportunities, responding appropriately. I draw your attention to the Western Gateway precinct, which is well in advance of the rest of the precinct. This is the location at the end of the Devonshire Street tunnel of the Atlassian HQ building that I mentioned earlier, and is also where other private sector proponents, such as Dexus Fraser and Toga, are getting on with what is effectively the next major stage of renewal at Central after the completion of light rail and shortly that of Metro Station. In working up our scheme for the project, we identify absolutely critical objectives that we need to achieve to deliver a successful precinct, and they're on the screen before you now. Fundamental to unlocking 24 hectares of the government-owned land is to enable the success of Tech Central and to support the vision for a 24-hour economy. The other critical points are the importance of new and enhanced public open space, realising a significant CBD economy through the creation of jobs of the future. The City of Sydney CBD has very few places to grow now, except to the south. So we, at the Central, as well as other areas around it under the planning control of the City of Sydney, are being looked at and examined for the potential for greater density. The importance of creating a vibrant place, planning for country, incorporating country-centred planning principles and actions that respect the surrounding diverse communities. Upgrading Central's critical infrastructure to meet the needs of a world-class multimodal transport interchange for local, regional and global travellers. We should never forget that Central Station is 15 minutes away from both a domestic and an international airport, and that connectivity is critical to the success of that connection to the CBD and the growth of the southern CBD. And the last 2 points, delivering a socially and environmentally sustainable precinct, and leveraging the recent government spending in that area in line with global trends. The impact of precinct renewal that we are contemplating at Central is city shaping in nature and clearly of international significance. As we move into a post-pandemic world, this project, as it proceeds, will be seen as a confident display of resilience in a top 20 global city market. It will be comparable in terms of relevance and scale to large urban renewal programs across the globe, such as King's Cross in London, Hudson Yards in New York and Porto Novo in Milan. London can also be referred to at the King's Cross project as a successful innovation precinct with a revived transport interchange that celebrates the heritage of that location. In looking at innovation precincts, which is very much the basis of the concept of Tech Central, the important drivers of that focus around economic assets, network assets and physical assets. And those 3 critical elements we believe we have in Central and will be critical to the success of the project going forward. One of the important prospects and opportunities for Central is the opportunity for showcasing and utilising the extensive heritage of Central. The 24-hectare site is of heritage significance and contains within it not only the obvious Sydney Terminal building, the magnificent sandstone building we have as the address point, but also the Bradfield flyovers, the brick flyovers that are to the south of the suburban platforms, and Mortuary Station. As well, there are other critical heritage items around that site. In addition to European heritage, however, we also recognise the importance of Central Precinct to Aboriginal Australia, and we'll be working to ensure principles of connecting with country are included, which will ensure a respectful presentation of Aboriginal heritage values. For all its inherent advantages in location and transport connections, Central Precinct has some serious challenges to overcome when one is discussing major urban renewal. They include the inevitable operational, structural, safety and dimensional limitations associated with building over an operating rail environment. Planning constraints that ensure that future development does not overshadow surrounding public spaces, particularly the Prince Alfred Park at any time of the year. And you can see the plan on the screen in front of you at the moment. Prince Alfred Park is the green triangle at the bottom of the screen. Protecting and celebrating Central Precinct's heritage, which I mentioned earlier, is again a key priority, and it is vital as we develop the potential for that site. It's important that we look at how we do represent heritage and how the new built form that may emerge speaks to and relates to heritage items. So we've been looking at a range of renewal options with the full knowledge of the constraints on the precinct. And we've identified there are effectively 4 renewal options, A through to D, and they are incrementally light touch through to a more comprehensive, complete renewal of the station land. Where we've identified is option C, we believe has the best placemaking opportunities and outcomes, which you can see is identifying if you like, in the teal blue area south of the terminal building, the area where we would expect there is the greatest opportunity for development of public open space and built form. So we've worked that one up to that initial concept up to develop the key opportunities, and you can see again this diagram of the 24 hectares, the importance of east-west connectivity, stitching suburbs of Surrey Hills and Chippendale back together again, as well as developing a north-south improved connectivity across the site, linking through ultimately to the Redfern North Everley precinct and north to the CBD. In the purple dotted areas, you can see the likely areas of built form, which will not overshadow Prince Alfred Park. And you can also see in the green area, the teal green area, the opportunity of major public open space on the western side of the rail yard, which would link into Railway Square and develop very much what is the concept of third square or central square on the western end of the precinct. You will recall that one of the objectives I touched on earlier was to create a vibrant place. And all the evidence we know about successful urban renewal or innovation precincts around the world is that one has to lay the groundwork for success and provide a network of parks, plazas, streets and lanes to enable the vibrancy to occur. Hence, within Central Precinct, we will be creating a diverse and walkable open space network that provides for a variety of activities and uses that connects within the precinct and to the surrounding precincts. Sustainability is a key planning priority for the renewal of Central, and we're taking a whole-of-life approach to sustainability through the planning, design, construction and ongoing precinct management. Delivery of this project will be in conjunction with an experienced, yet-to-be-selected co-developer, and collectively we would expect the development of this project will represent best practice for major urban renewal locally and globally. Indeed, the 2 most recent major urban renewal projects in Sydney, being Central Park and Barangaroo, both in their day represented world's best practice. And with this project, which is similar in scale, we see no reason why it wouldn't also represent today's world best practice in design, construction and operation. Our sustainability themes are based on the principles identified in the Transport, Environment and Sustainability Policy, as well as the applicable United Nations Sustainability Development Goals, and established sustainability frameworks in the property sector, such as Green Star, Global Real Estate Sustainability Benchmark, and the WELL building rating system. It's probably worth just talking about what is actually happening now, whereas the longer term frame of the sustainability, the overstation development potential is a longer term exercise. We're keen now to implement the shifting imagery and the language and narrative around Tech Central. So you can see here the Western Gateway I touched on earlier. The Western Gateway, there's images there of the Atlassian Tower on the left, images of Dexter's Fraser in the middle, and the concept for the Adena Hotel being proposed by Toga. So this is the area at the end of Devonshire Street Tunnel on the western part of the site. This is largely being initiated by private sector proponents, and we would expect to see significant construction activity in that area commencing next year. On the bottom right, there's the former Prince Alfred substation area, which I'll touch on a little bit with some more imagery. An old, or a heritage item designed by Bradfield many years ago, a former substation. And just up the top is what's called the Quantum Terminal. Again, the Western Gateway, the closer image is there of the Atlassian image on the left. Atlassian obtained its development consent last week, and as I indicated, we would expect to see or anticipate construction commencing within the next 12 months or so on that project. The Prince Alfred substation is in the PA sidings fronting Prince Alfred Park. The image on the left of that side is the old substation in its current form. And we would see there's an opportunity there to reposition that as a tech-focused, grungy office space fronting Prince Alfred Park. And we've been doing a little bit of work in relation to the interiors of that, and you can see how we would imagine it will be going. So we anticipate that project will be completed during next year. The Quantum Terminal, I suppose, this is Tech Central's first collaboration space, and it's taking shape within the historic walls of the landmark terminal building. What was once the nerve centre of Sydney's train network will now take shape as the Quantum Terminal in Sydney's new technology and innovation heartland. The Quantum Terminal represents a synergy of Sydney's transport heritage with the city's expanding future in technology. It will be home to a community of future-focused researchers, educators, developers, programmers and engineers that will help lead the development and innovation of quantum excellence, as well as provide access to shared and private workspaces and large event spaces. With its proximity to educational institutions, as well as major hospitals, the Central Precinct will enable unmatched connectivity to business and research institutes to further drive the success of Tech Central. We would expect within the next few weeks there will be some public announcements in relation to the Quantum Terminal commencement. So as I said earlier in the presentation, in a post-COVID-19 world, the revitalisation of Central Precinct will contribute significantly to sustained economic growth and will be a confident display of city resilience, which will further elevate Sydney on the international stage. It will, however, certainly take some time to achieve Central Precinct's vision in its entirety, but this is a precinct which is ready to grow. With game-changing projects like Sydney Metro, Light Rail, the More Trains, More Services programme, and the progression of the Western Gateway sub-precinct, Central Precinct is already taking shape. The planning process for renewing Central Precinct has already started with the release of the strategic framework. We are preparing a master plan and planning controls which will involve community and stakeholder consultation and detailed studies over the next 6 to 12 months. The state significant Precinct Master Plan is expected to be on exhibition in 2022. While I've today concentrated on the urban renewal aspects of the project, it's important to note how rail infrastructure will continue to play a critical role in the transformation of Central, both as a means of meeting our customers' mobility needs, but also as an opportunity to realise the full potential of the precinct. At Transport, we are keen to collaborate with our industry partners for their valuable input and expertise. Working together means we can increase our placemaking capability and deliver a world-leading precinct for our customers, businesses and broader community. Thank you for inviting me here today to share our vision for Central Precinct and the future of Sydney. Thank you, Paul.